What is good with you guys, man? Blessed for a sunny day today, finally. It's been crummy out here, Pacific Northwest, for the past 2 weeks. Nothing special. And this right here, bro, my usual camera that I film is out of battery. So I'm on my iPhone at the moment. But I've said this once, and I'll say it again. But I am an MMA hobbyist. And part of growing this channel and trying to build this community, I've always just had a love for building things and watching it grow. I want to help motivate the people, you feel me? Because when it comes to fighting and the world of MMA and stuff, I think a lot of people still to this day look at it as the UFC and professional fighting and career fighting, which is great. Don't get me wrong, man. Like, I'm a UFC fan. I love watching UFC. I love watching professional fighters. I mean, even some of my favorite fighters aren't even in the UFC. Some of my favorite fighters are in one championship. And what's crazy is like that I'll ask people, I'll be like, hey, have you seen one championship? Have you seen, I mean, when Bellator used to be around, I'd be like, have you seen Bellator? They're like, no, I don't really know those fight organizations. You know, it's like the regular average person, when they think of fighting, they think of it as like the UFC. You know, that's where you get dudes that are like, oh yeah, man, like these people, bro, they train UFC. It's like, no, we don't train UFC. Like you don't train UFC. But that's a topic for another day, bro. But for real, man, the MMA hobbyist, I believe, is what makes up a gym, like what makes up the majority of a gym. Like, there are career fighters in a gym and there are people that are actively fighting, but a lot of the people that make up a gym are also people that are 9-to-5 workers, just regular folks. And so I truly believe that fighting isn't for everybody, but martial arts is. And martial arts can be for you too. Martial arts can very well be for you. And I believe that martial arts has always been the ultimate hobby. I remember watching this Conor McGregor vid back in 2014, or there's an interview with him in 2014. I don't know if I even mentioned this before in my previous vids that I've made, but there was an interview of him and he talked about how active fighting, like competitive fighting, isn't forever, but to him, martial arts is. Say what you will about the guy, like him or hate him or whatever, but there is something definitely to be said about that, man. There's definitely something to be said about being in this for the long run. And that has been my goal. And this is me documenting my journey and how to go about being a hobbyist and trying to stay in this game as long as possible, with trying to minimize the amount of potential injuries I get, as well as just trying to preserve my body so I don't feel super shitty and in pain all the time. And that is way easier said than done, because I've said it before, man. Like, with combat sports, my neck is already tweaked, my back has already been messed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've just done a lot of damage to my body already. But now that I am 29, I am looking into this and really thinking about this now before I hit 30. And that's also why I started this channel and really have been looking to make this more serious of a topic, because I'm a 29-year-old MMA hobbyist who's been training since I was 23, avidly training since I was 23. And I want to continue to do this. So how can I do this as I am going to be turning 30 and so forth? And how can I bring value to the people as somebody who's already been doing this? And fortunately speaking, like I said, through going through some of my injuries, I've now looked at training in a different perspective. And fortunately, those injuries weren't like career ending, quote unquote, as far as ending my hobbies. You know, like there are things, unfortunately, even hobbyists, that they will go through some injuries sometimes where it's like they can no longer do it. Like I had a buddy who was a brown belt that just exploded his knee basically and had to wait for the answer of like, do I need surgery or do I don't? And if I do need surgery, maybe I can never roll again. You know what I mean? Like maybe I have to put it down. And that's something hard to do when you've been doing something for 8+ years and it becomes like almost a part of you. I do believe that, yes, martial arts is for everybody, but competitive fighting just really isn't. I've told y'all before, with things that I have personally been through and my personal experiences, and also one of the biggest factors is the fact that I just don't have the best eyesight. Like I wear glasses. I just don't want to risk the eye injuries and the potential damage. Is just not worth it to me to be an active fighter. But self-defense is for life and martial arts is for life, and that's why I will always avidly train, and I will always be here representing the hobbyist, because there are times when self-defense and actively training has really saved me in those senses. And if you don't actively train and if you don't stay on par with certain skills, then, you know, God forbid, but there's a time when you need that and it's just not there. I would rather have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. That is exactly how I view training. Like the best street fights are the ones that we can walk away from. Like I completely understand that. But again, with how the world is and how crazy the world is nowadays, sometimes knowing some shit can be very beneficial. And I think it would be a lie to say that anybody out here telling me that like it's not beneficial for you to learn how to throw a punch or block one and study your body and know how you're going to react if somebody attacks you like that, if somebody tries to punch you in the face. You know, you have to think of it that way too. That's the whole part of training and self-defense, is like that you think you will, but really like you don't know how you're going to react when someone is coming after you and throwing punches at you. And so that's why training is important. What you guys think about this topic? Do you guys think that martial arts is for everybody? If you agree, let me know in the comments. If you disagree, also let me know in the comments. I really want to have a discussion about this, so let's start one. If you guys also have time, go ahead and check out my sparring vids, my jiu-jitsu stuff. Also, I just incorporate it all into my daily vlogs, so go ahead and check it out, man. I appreciate you guys. See you next time.